Yeah, log on, but then sit in the middle while I talk. Alright, please, and then we'll go back on after a few minutes.
Turn on. Look at this lovely chair that absolutely no one is playing on. What? So that one. I'll move if you give me 50 cents. Why don't I just constantly fucking slap you? You should log on. I'll carry this over my head, but if I drop it, go ahead. There's a chair right there too, by the way. Here, Lawrence, you can go through now. Lucian.
Yeah, cheers.
Oh, I'm in.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. Yeah, he's very fun. Okay, guys, I asked you to log on and sit back here, please. So you should. Someone didn't even log on. So, Eli, if your phone's going to distract you, I'm going to take it off you, okay? Did you want books? Yeah, you're going to take some notes. Oh, yeah, sure. Whistle, please. Okay, so. Last, Louis, come sit up here, please, mate. Last lesson we had a look at procedure subprograms. Okay, so they might also be called modules or subroutines. Then I ask you guys to write a couple of. They can take your notes out, please, mate. Then I ask you guys to write some subprograms in which we're going to do addition or subtraction or division, etc., etc. Okay, don't write this down here. Okay, but inside that subroutine, you actually ask for some variables. Okay, so you said so you want to be number 1 and number 2. I'm going to read them next. Sorry, read. So you declared some variables inside your subprogram. Okay. If we have variables that are just in the subprogram and they're not in the outside program, does anyone know what we call those variables? Sorry? Local variables? Sub-variables. Sub-variables, that's a good one. They're not global variables, but we will be looking at global. Local. They're called local. So, local variables, now you can write this down. Local variables are used in subroutines. Now, if it's a local variable, it's declared in that subroutine. You might see the same name out in the main program, but they're two different variables. Okay, so they can be a little bit confusing. The same variable name could be used inside a subprogram and inside the main program. The same name could be used, but they are two different variables. Right? So when local variables are used. When we use variables in subroutines, they're called local, and then Lucian, when we use them in the main program, they're called global. Okay, and that's called the scope of the variables. And that's about all there is. They might give you a main program, a subprogram, and they might say, oh, num1 is an example of, use a local variable. And they might say, name, which is in the main program, is an example of, you go, global variable. Pretty easy, hey? Okay. Looking at this subprogram, it looks a little bit messy. Okay? And here we have a subprogram, we have to declare the variables in there, and then we ask to put the variables inside the subprogram. Okay? Now, when you guys actually called your procedure in Pascal, you had the name, and then you had the semicolon. Okay? Quite often when we call subprograms, we see it written like this. It has the name of the procedure, and then it has two empty brackets. Does anybody know why? Sorry, not always two empty brackets, but it has brackets. Does anyone know why?
Because it's a method or a function that you could use and call.
No, not really. What might we put into those brackets?
An argument.
That's right.
An argument.
You want an argument?
You could put those in an argument.
That's not an argument. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's just contradiction. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
What's by guy walks in, he pays, he wants to have an argument. After he pays, the guy goes, okay, pay if you want. He goes, I just did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Oh, I'm not going to go through this again. Okay, so what we put in here. Sorry? That would say.
Why can you quote it?
Why did I quote it?
Why can you?
Because I've seen it.
Lucian said it's an argument. Yes, it can be an argument, but the better name we use for it is, anybody starts with a P? A parameter. Parameter. A parameter. You've heard of the word parameter, haven't you? Sometimes you might say, oh, well, what are the parameters? It's the guidelines that go with something. It's almost like a criteria. So what goes inside these brackets is the parameter or parameters. Okay? And if we put them in there, they exist with the call to the function, and they exist in the definition of the function. So they exist when we call it, and they exist when we define it. I'm going to change this now. Over here I'm going to have my call to addition. You've written that down, haven't you? Yes, that's okay for me to... I'm going to put two parameters in there, num1, comma, num2. Alright? Somewhere before this, I've already got the value of num1 and num2. Then in my addition program here, I'm actually just going to have x and y. Now I know I've told you not to use those. I'm deliberately using those to show you the difference between these two. Okay? So in my main program, this would be underlined. Okay? Probably, someone said they don't underline the parameters, they just underline this. So I call it up here. And today when you're coding, I really would like you to, if you have trouble formatting, if you're still not too sure when to indent, can you call me over and ask for some help? Okay, because it's important that you have it done right. Okay, look how tidy this is now. Okay. Now what happens is I get num1 might equal 7, and I get num2 might equal 5. I call addition, so num1's got 7 in it, and num2's got 5 in it. What the parameters do is when I call the subprogram, it goes to the subprogram and it takes the parameters with it. So it takes whatever value num1 is, 7, num2 is 5. So I put 7 and 5 in, goes and calls here. 7 pops into x because it's the first parameter. 5 pops into y because it's the second parameter. Okay, so this x matches num1 and the y matches the num2. Does that make sense? If I had 3 parameters here, I'd have 3 parameters there. Does that make sense? No one. That doesn't make sense for anybody?
Yeah, it does.
Who's not too sure? Yeah, ask questions, because that's the best thing to do.
If you have multiple parameters,
Multiple. Yeah, one after the other.
so you have
I've got multiple parameters already. I've got two.
num2 in any circumstance going to x or
No, it's the first one here
Yeah.
goes into the first one here. The second one here goes into the second one here.
Alright.
Okay, it's virtually just that thing's matched. So what happens is now total equals 7 plus 2 or 7 plus 5, 12. Then the next time I call addition, I could still use these. If I change the values here, it would do a different addition there. If I change the parameters, if I said addition num2, num1, what would happen? Liam? If I change that to num2, num1, what would happen?
You would get y x instead of x1.
No, I'm not touching x, y.
You would get, would it be 5 plus 7?
Yeah, exactly right. That would be 5 there,
Also, x
and that would be 7 there. Sorry?
So x is value.
X is always matched to x, the first.
Sorry, caught you in mid-flight.
No worries.
I was just wondering, could I see Louis a little bit?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
How long are you going to have it for? 40 minutes? 45?
Well, probably about 10 minutes. It's a lot of time to wrap.
See how hesitant he was? Grab his laptop. Try not to be too long with him, because he misses a fair bit.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just whatever's the first one here goes into the first one there. Whatever is the second one there goes into the second one here. Whatever is if I have 3, whatever's doesn't matter what these are called. Doesn't matter. They don't have to be in alphabetical order. They're not in numerical order. It's just the first one goes into the first one. No brainer really. Sometimes you guys think too much. You out-hit yourselves. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupids. All right. I could change this to that could be A. Whatever the value of A is, will go into Y. Everyone okay with that? Now, of course, with addition, it doesn't matter what, so it still would be 12. So the thing is, I don't have to change this around. I don't have to change my subprogram. Anytime I call it, whatever 2 numbers I send to it, it'll have my 2 numbers for it. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, so we're going to have a little go at this. This is just pseudocode, okay? There's different little nuances, different tricks, okay? I'll just explain something to you before you go on, okay? With Pascal, there's 2 ways of calling your procedure. One is called call by value, and the other one is called by reference, okay? Now, if we call by value, this type of thing happens, there's no problem. If we call by reference, what happens is inside this subprogram, it sends information back to the call and can change the global variable. It can change the variable back in the main program. Does that make sense? No? Yes? So we're just looking at it like this. All we're doing, we're just looking at using the variables inside the subprogram. In Pascal, there's 2 things. There's call by value and call by reference. And there's an explanation, or there's an example for both. And all it does, the only difference is, inside here, you actually use the var word. You use var to declare some variables inside the parentheses. But it's there, I've got it there for you on Doodle. Okay? The call by value and the call by reference, if you get confused, you don't really need to know this much for your content. This is more for you using Pascal. So you don't get confused. Reference, refer back to, who was the clicker? No prizes, I guess. It's referring back to the variable in the main program. Okay, so call by reference, it can change the variable. So this num1, num2, we can actually send back and change the value of num1, num2. So we can actually say num2 equals the total in here. Is that right, Liam? So in here, if we had num2 equals the total, and we're using a call by reference, when it comes back here, it would actually change this 7 to the 12. If we use call by value, we're just dealing with the variables inside here. And remember, we can have the same name as the variables there and there. So, on your Moodle, I don't know if I've unlocked it. If I haven't, I will do it now. So if you can log on, there's two. It's called procedures, okay? And you can have a look at that, and then you can copy and paste it into your Pascal, and then change it, play around with it, make sure so you can break it, so you understand how the variables are talking to each other. So, yes. Well, yesterday we bought some Chinese food. We had some chicken and noodle rice, some chicken and noodle soup. Because I can't say noodle, so I just say noodle.
It's pretty tasty.
It's just a so have you used it? So Jesse's been asking me to get his USB back, but don't bring it in. He's not.
I'm going to use Wi-Fi.
Okay, so he's actually used it.
Yeah.
So you see it doesn't come and go. So that's yours, isn't it? That's yours.
So I can get
Oh, I prefer for you to come and get it.
My car back.
So Lucian, your login is Moray L. Is it Moray? Moray L, and then your password is your 9-digit school reference number. That's on your ID card. Starts with a 4. The address is, well, one of these guys will log on and they'll tell you. That's right, because I asked everyone to put it into their favourites. You shouldn't need to go to any other website. And I apologise for the Asian girls enticing you to join their websites when you go onto the Pascal. I spent a fair bit of time trying to get the Pascal onto here, so with no luck. Well, I'm making it a priority. Hopefully we'll come back to the holidays. Coghill Earl. So yours is C-O-G-H-I-L-L. So have you logged in there, Laurie?
Are there any capitals in the youth name stuff?
No, but you're right there, Laura? Really would prefer that you didn't touch the equipment, all things out, put things in. I would hate for you to have me suspended from using computers, mate. Doesn't matter, mate, you don't have permission to go calling peripherals even there. So it's called procedures in Pascal. Yes.
My favorite thing, when I said it's favorite, it was on a different computer.
Shouldn't matter, it picks up off your profile. Yeah, it's under topic 1. I'm just unhiding it now. It should be there, procedures in Pascal.
Yeah, I got it.
So you just have a read of it first, then you can copy and paste it into your Pascal compiler. I'll put it up the screen and I'll talk to it for you. So good programmers use procedures. You wrap everything up into a procedure. How many tasks should a procedure do? I told you this last lesson. How many tasks should a procedure do? One. Yeah, okay. What's another name for a procedure? Subprogram, subroutine, or a module. Lawrence, it's web2.sscb wattle -h.schools.nsw.edu.au. You don't need that user CRT, that's up the top. Not with an online compiler. Don't forget we declare our procedure first in Pascal. So you put procedure, put the name, the brackets, the parameters, then you have a begin, you write all the stuff that happens in the procedure, you have an end with a semicolon, then we declare the main program. Can't see that?
So I can't log yesterday.
Well, you must have mucked something up from yesterday, no?
Oh, no.
There it is up there. Schools _1. Did you see it? Yep.
So, here we go. My password as well.
Oh, get out.
Wait, if you insist.
The password was just schools _1, right?
Schools with a capital S _1. What, have you forgotten it from last lesson?
Yes, sir. I thought so.
Where did you write it down?
It has to have alphanumeric order.
Liam, where did you write it down?
I didn't.
Oh. I won't write it down, I won't forget it.
Oh, I'm gonna have budget information marker.
Did you get in, Nathan?
Yep.
Same thing, Liam.
Okay.
Thank you.
When we run a program, the program normally has a lot of different things.
I did see because we got that one to do this that yesterday.
So it makes it
But
easier to maintain. So let's say the logging part's not working. You have to go to the logging module to work out that bit. Or let's say the attendance part's not working. You have to go to the attendance module. And that might be broken into smaller modules. So what we're doing now is just looking at how looking at modules, how to call a module, and now how to use parameters. Because with modules use parameters and that send specific information. Say, do what you do in your subprogram, but do it with this value. And the next time you're going to call it, you're going to send the same parameter, but with a different value. I want you to do the same thing. So let's say it was an age checker. We kept on calling it an age checker. So every time we sent an age to it, we checked to see if it was the right age. So we might send a date of birth to it, or it might send, we might just send a raw age and it calculates whether it's the right age, like it's over this or it's under that, whatever. So we might send a 9 and then it might be okay. It does 20, okay, and then it makes it yes it is. But we might send it 6 and it sends the 6 and then it goes, no it's not. We send it 23 and it goes, yes it is. So we're calling out the same module each time, so we don't have to write a different thing. We don't have to say if 23 is over, or if 9 is over, if 3 is over. We don't have to write a bit of code for every number because it across the take a lot of stuff. So we just write the one module, but we can send it a different number each time. So but on this one, what I'm trying to show you is the difference between call by value and call by reference. Because with Pascal, as I said a couple of times up before, if we use call by reference, it actually changes the variables back in the main program. The call by value, it doesn't change. It's leaves the below. It only changes the values inside the local program, the local subprogram. So,
In what way did it change?
it changes the values that overwrites it.
That's why
Updates.
I asked for copy. It just takes out the old value and puts the new value in.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I asked to have a little play around with it so you can see what it does. Nathan, I sent you a message yesterday. Did you get it? Nathan?
Yeah.
Did you get the message I sent you yesterday?
What message?
Through Moodle.
Oh. How do you check it?
Doesn't Google. confusing if you just look at it. That's why I asked you to play around with the values. Change the values on your online compiler, run it again, see what the difference is. Then change some different values, run it again, see what happens. Okay, change some values again, run it again, see what happens. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that so you can discover for yourself, then I'll talk to it and explain it line by line for you. It's a lot more fun if you do it yourself rather than me just saying, this is what happens, this is what happens. Remember that the only difference between the two is, one, it will change the variable back in the main program, the other one it won't. let's have a look up here and I'll talk you through it and I'll get you the modifier. Okay, so we have a look at the second one, the call by value. Does the call by value change the variables back in the main, or is it call by reference? Call by reference, because remember I said it refers back to the variable. Okay, so let's have a look. So program, we just got a name for it, that's fine. Okay, I told you not to worry about the user CRT. I declare my variable alpha, it's an integer. I'm using that in my main program. There it is right there, alpha equals 30. Okay, I define my procedure there. I'm not going to look at that just yet, I'm going to come back to it. So my program makes alpha equal to 30. It then calls a subprogram called name. Okay, that's what I've defined up there. It sends to it 4 parameters. One is alpha, the next one is 3, the next one is 4, the next one is 5. So when it goes into name, runs the procedure, the first value it sends is alpha, which I just made 30. It sends the value 3, 4, or 5 into the other 3 variables. So when it comes up to here and calls name, A picks up alpha, which is, the value of alpha is 30. So 30 goes into A, 3 goes into B, 4 goes into C, and 5 goes into D. Everyone okay with that so far? Liam, you alright? Because it's up to you, mate. Alright? So I've got 30, 3, 4, and 5. It begins the procedure. A was made 30 when I sent it to there, but now A is made to 100 by what's happening in the procedure. B is equal to 2, even though I set 3 to it. I said these are the variables of the procedure, and it prints out 100, 2, 4, 5. Okay? So it changed. I put 30 to alpha, I said alpha to A, it changed A. Then when it comes back, it says this is the value of alpha in the main here. Alpha is still equal to 30. Right. What happened up here didn't change alpha. Okay? So I gave alpha a value, I sent it to here, it went into A, I overrode it because I changed A's value to 100, but it didn't affect alpha. Now with the call by reference, you'll see that in the procedure, I actually had VAR there. That's the only difference. Lucy, what's on the phone, mate? Is it this? You're taking notes for this? No. Okay, well, 5 minutes from the line, mate. Okay, so I've declared 4 variables for my main, alpha Charlie, 3, alpha Charlie Foxtrot, and they're integers. So my program starts here. I make alpha equal to 30, Charlie equal to 50, Foxtrot equal to 1,000. I then call the procedure name. Okay, so in normal Pascal, I wouldn't know what name was. It's only because I've said, oh, here's what name is up here. So it calls name and it sends to it alpha, which is 30, the value 3, Charlie, which is 50, and Foxtrot, which is 1,000. So the alpha 30 goes, grab a seat, mate, all right. The alpha 30 goes into A, the 3 goes into B, the Charlie goes into C, and the Foxtrot goes into D. So the Charlie was 50, so 50 goes into C, and the Foxtrot goes into D. Now, the alpha goes into A, and they're just called the same way. A, B, integer, A, B, integer. However, the Charlie goes into C, and you'll notice there's a bar in front. So this Charlie is now going to be called by reference. So, Lawrence, can you pay attention, please? So, if I change C in here, it'll actually come back up to here and kick back and change the value in Charlie there, because I've used the bar there and I'm calling by reference. So I make A equal to 1, so A gets overwritten here, B is 2, C is 7. I've then just printed out A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 7. It comes back, and when it comes back to here, because the C is 7, there's 7 there, the 7 comes back into Charlie. You'll notice when you printed it out, it actually said, this is the value of alpha Charlie in the main program, and it printed out 30 and 7, didn't it? Yep. Even though Charlie has made 50 there, look, only 2 lines up, Charlie's made 50. because it goes into the subprogram, gets changed, and this is simple. This bar here makes a call by reference. It takes what we've made C, puts it in there, and says, here, you gave me a 50, but you gave me a 50, but I'm sending you back a 7. Okay? So that way we can do something. We might say, here's a parameter, we want you to do something, but send it back to us changed, please. Or we might say, here's a parameter, do what you do well, but don't change it back here in our original format because we're still working with it. We want you to do something with it, maybe check it, tell us if it's a prime number or an even number or something, but don't change its value because we're still working with it. Beg pardon? So you said something but nothing.
He was looking for a 5.
Oh, I might be. Okay, so we might send the name Louis. We might want to find out how many letters are in it, but we don't want 5 to come back and Louis to change to 5. Okay, we still want to keep Louis as is, but we want to get the value of 5 as well. Okay, so we wouldn't change Louis back. So what I'd like you to do is on here I'm saying this is the value of Alpha and Charlie in the main. I'd like you to print it so it also says these are the values of Charlie and Alpha in the subprogram. Or the main, actually say here is Charlie and Alpha before you call the function, and here's what they are after the function. Do it that way. So here's what they are before I call the function, and here's what they are now after I call the function. Is this yours? Matthew, this is yours? Oh, sorry.
Where did you get our marks back?
Oh, did you hang in the USB? Was it stuck in the... Lawrence, is this yours? I don't think there was any name No, there's no. Yeah, everyone handed a USB. There's nothing in the rules to say that from Lawrence. You didn't have the USB name or okay, you didn't have the program. So you got it done, boys?
I changed it a bit different. I changed it
I
different.
think I might go come in with a seating plan for you guys. It seems like it's like we have trouble working with the person you're sitting next to. Go back to the before stuff. What happened, mate?
I changed it so that I didn't know how to change it before, so I just changed it so it said Alpha Charlie and Foxtrot.
So change it so it says here are the values before the subprogram and here's the values after the subprogram. So here's what each one of these variables equals before I send it off, and here's what they equal when it comes back.
So is it before that one? Can you have apostrophes if you're just typing like they are like?
No, because it's try a backslash in front of the apostrophe. Yeah, try that. Try it. Is it a question or a statement? Yeah.
Is CLIS CI such a split screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually, you don't need it. It's just, we don't need it on the file.
I think that's good.
So what you're saying is this is the value of Alpha and Charlie in the main before I call the procedure, and here's the value of Charlie and Alpha after I call the procedure. Okay, Louis? Lawrence is showing you how to use the mouse, isn't it?
I did them like 5 weeks ago. Why you're that stuff?
Here's the value of the You right, Nathan? Yeah, Louis, that's just so you got it going? All you're doing is saying, here are the values. So what you're doing is right-click the variables. Here are the variables before I call the procedure. Here's the same variables after I call the procedure. Why? I want you to have it out. I want you to say here the race. Here's the value of Charlie before I call the procedure. Or you might do just have one line there, just do a right click on the three variables.
Is that what I'm supposed to happen?
This is the value of Charlie after procedure. These are the variables before the procedure. Aren't they the variables inside the procedure?
Yeah.
I want these variables, I want Alpha and Charlie before you call the procedure. All you're doing is writing, here is the value of the variables before the procedure, and just do a right click on the three variables before you call the procedure. What word is calling the procedure? Name, thanks. 1 out of 13 people, thanks. Someone was still talking about something else when I was just asking you a question. You haven't written anything. So that's today's word. It's on Moodle. You just copy and paste it in. Oh, you weren't here last lesson, Louis? No. Well, I don't know that, mate, because you're here. I don't want to assume that you're not here. So you haven't even logged into Moodle, so you're just sitting there waiting for me to yell at you before you're going to do something. I thought Lawrence might have told us he didn't have a chat to you as soon as you sat down.
So, the way it's structured, is that the main that procedure one if there was no procedure on?
Sorry, say again, mate.
The way it's formatted, is that the main? That's procedure one?
This is the main.
That's the main.
Yeah, begin and end because it calls the procedure there. So you're calling the procedure, and then this is the definition of the procedure. So the main program starts with begin and ends with an end full stop. So you're calling the subprogram there. Yep. You're saying, hey, now execute procedure called name. What's procedure called name? Oh, you have to find it up here. So it runs all the way through, and then it returns straight back to the end of this line.
And it wouldn't matter if I just did. I'm just wondering about format syntax. I just double procedure.
Yeah, good. Do another one.
procedure.
Okay, see if you can add your own procedure with your own parameters. So we put a piece of paper underneath, right? Because it doesn't work very well with the reflection on the air. Folder's fine. Have you done it, Nate? Nate, have you done it? Beg your pardon? Yeah, but have you done where it says these are the procedure, these are the variables before the procedure? No. Lawrence, have you done that? Have you said here's the value before the procedure and here's the values after the procedure? Oh, that's what I asked you to do 10 minutes ago.
What are you doing, William? You don't know how you're going.
So I just did this, but I'm pretty sure this isn't what you were asking. Because that's just. So they didn't change.
Okay, are you writing that in all the procedure?
No, I'm writing that in the procedure.
Yes. Okay, so it's writing in the procedure.
Yeah.
All you do, you can put it in the when the program starts, first thing it does is to begin, and it does this,
How is it all
procedure. So what it is put it there.
And then it's.
There.
Yeah.
Yes, it
It wasn't
Oh,
I just chose to do it. It's an
Just
extra.
line up here.
What's that you're on?
I do Rory.
I'm changing
Motorway.
it so Foxtrot is equal to Delta.
Ah, okay.
Because
You're looking
I
at it,
got
but you're looking-
I got confused when that was called D and
Oh,
that
okay.
starts
All right.
with
You can change those to anything you want. Doesn't matter. I just made up some names.
Ah.
Okay. And see here, it's just the fourth one goes into the fourth one.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, that's okay. You're just looking at the phonetic gum
Yeah.
there. Cool.
You can have more than one procedure. Hopefully your program is made up of many procedures. Couldn't log in, Louis?
You completed the.
But Louis, when did you got last
Okay,
lesson?
so I.
Oh, you're away again.
Yeah. Sorry. Which line should I be?
You work it out. I just put the return there for you. You do it before name, before you call the procedure. Liam, stop. Let him do some work for a change, please, mate. Louis, I'm just unsuspending your account, so you can try it again. Just wait on a few moments. It doesn't say your account's suspended. Are you doing Urban L?
Yeah.
Have you got your ID card with you?
Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah.
Have you got your ID card? That was the question. Yes, no.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
double check. The capital VAR needs to be variables.
Doesn't
doesn't have to be capital. If you declare the var inside the main program, okay, before they begin, and you declare the variables inside the procedure, if you do it with a VR word, it's just being called by reference, so it can send back whatever goes in that parameter can send back to the variable that's in the. So it's allowed to change that variable. They call it the parameter.
So the variable will be initialized in the range, and then it can change.
So we change by the subroutine if we put the word var in there.
Okay.
But as I said, that's just a nuance of Pascal. Other languages have their own way how they handle it. And pseudo-wise, what you get tested on won't be like that. It'll just be assumed that we call parameters, we send those parameters in, they're local, whatever happens in there stays in there, and they're just a global restrictions. We're having trouble with Pascal, which is the easy one. Louis, here's a new password for you. Schools.
Okay.
Uppercase S _1.
Schools on the case one.
What? You couldn't hear me? What's wrong? You left your glasses at home or something? Yeah. Come over here, mate. Lawrence, have you written your own procedure? Eva, have you written your own procedure? No. How are you going, Liam? Have you been able to write this one's before and this one's after? Okay. These are the variables within the subprogram. These are the variables
You said to put it before the procedure.
Yes, but you're making them equal to something. I just want you to print them. So if you just. Oh no, that's okay because you've got the prefix speech mark, so it's okay. But you don't. Oh no.
That.
Wrong.
So the max for the zeros.
Let me just say.
Oh, so just go through and say.
Well, what you could do is you could say alpha is the what I want to do is a speech mark. Oh, okay. What I have on my search want to do with the speech mark is oh, right.
And all that has to call it one.
Did you get in, Louis?
Yeah.
Nathan, have you printed out the variables before the subprogram and after the subprogram?
I have.
Don't whistle, please. So is there any particular line you don't get? The whole lot of it? Right, so do you understand what this is doing? No, it's just the name of it. You can get rid of that, as I said before. down there here at the beginning. This is the beginning of the month. Okay. Let's get rid of the clear screen.
I don't need that.
No. Okay. So we just declared three variables. Straight to child and construct. So here we'll be giving the variables.
Louis, what's that? What are you doing? You're right. You're copying it in.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's wrong, Nathan?
Okay. So up here we have the three variables. Yeah. Okay. So at the beginning of our program, we make alpha equal 43, and you make Charlie equal to 34, and you make Foxtrot equal to 34. So that's cool. Okay. Then we're calling the procedure in this way. It's called name. So that's why I asked you to change things around. So we would change this to yellow, but then we would have to change the name here to yellow. Okay. So yes. Okay. So when we call it here, it goes up to where we define it, where it says procedure, whatever we call it. So we say name, then the procedure name, we change that to yellow, we go up to procedure yellow. Okay? So it says go to name and take the values alpha, 3, Charlie, and Foxtrot. Take the 4 of these values and put them into the 4 values up here. So what was in the first one down there goes in the first one here. What was in the second one goes in the 43. So the second one is 3. Yeah. So 3 goes into A. You're right. Alpha is 43, so 43 goes into A. Let's just do this first. Alpha goes into A, so A is 43. 3 goes into B. Charlie is 34, so that goes into C. And Foxtrot is 234, so that goes into 3. Okay? But then we changed A, so regardless of what we just put into A, we just changed it there. Okay? So A is now 50, even though it was 43. B was 3, now it's 800. C was Charlie, which was 34, is now changed to 9,000. We haven't touched B, we haven't touched Foxtrot. Okay? Even though the value of Foxtrot, 9,000 went into D, we haven't done anything with D here. We'll just print out a line. These are the variables in the procedure. We'll just print out another line. A is 57. A equals gets printed, then it prints out the value of A. B equals gets printed out, and then the value of B gets printed out. 800. C, okay, no problem there. Now, but the C got made to 9,000. Scroll back up a bit. Because the C is a bar, that 9,000 goes back into the C. Then when it returns back down to here, what you call name, that value, 9,000C, comes back into Charlie.
So it goes back to
Yeah, so no, 9,000. Alpha stays what it was. Alpha stays as 43. 3 is 3. Charlie was 34, but when we sent 34 to there, we made C of 9,000. C got made 9,000. Because the C there, after the bar, 9,000 comes back. So the 9,000 goes back into Charlie. So the alpha stays what it was, but the Charlie gets changed. What happened to it? I've simply got that bar. We put the bar out there, so A, B, C, D is major. It doesn't matter what we do to the variables in there. These ones back here will stay the way they were before. Okay. But because we put the bar there, when we change C here, we change Charlie back to back to the variable. It says, I took your value on, I'm doing something, now you have to take the value back. Whereas when we don't use the bar, I take your variable on, I can do whatever I want, but I'm not sending it back to you. I'll just print it out or do something. But you still stay the one, whatever you go. If I'm using by reference, this bar bit here, I'll change it, you've got to take what I give you back. These ones, they just change it, but don't send it back. That's all these are to do. So all I wanted you to do was say, inside, just before that word names, I just wanted you to put a line before name and say, here are the values alpha of Charlie, and after name, here are the values of alpha Charlie, which you've already got. So you just need one line. Just need one line to say, here are the values of alpha Charlie. Going to lose your phone,
Sad that stuff.
I've got 5 phones on my radar, maybe 6, that I'm going to be confiscating pretty soon.
So, can you tell me?
So, Yes.
I'm a bit confused as to why two of my variables are.
If you printed out a line saying here's the values before and here's the values after, I want you to add another procedure, please. Is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a bit confused for whatever reason.
Well, that not for me though.
Only two of my variables got initialized, but I've done all four of them at the same way. So.
Alpha Charlie Foxtrot X. Okay, you can log off and go. What do you mean they got initialized?
So that's where I coded Genesis and then put my forward down here. I haven't actually set any of the yet. But why? Yeah.
Yeah,